Guys, listen, we're going to start in on our cutting and torch training of our curriculum. Now let me say something about torches. Torches are probably the hardest thing to learn to do about welding. When you have, say, arc welding, you have a machine that does the arc, you learn to set the angle, do the speed, but with a torch now, it's all you. You have to learn to set the torch up, set your heat right, do everything yourself. The torch does nothing for you. You have to do it all. I have my little torch right here that I have at home. It's my little portable torch. But it's the same thing as if you have a huge torch or a small torch. It does the same thing. And if you'll look here with me, we have our acetylene, our little acetylene bottle, and we have our little oxygen bottle. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're torching is you have acetylene, which is the hottest burning gas that there is, when you combine it with 100% oxygen. It actually burns the metal. You have a cutting stream which blows the metal away, thus makes it cuts the metal. As an introductory thing, I just thought I'd show you a few things about it. Acetylene is unstable above 15 psi. So we redline right here. This little acetylene bottle has like a ceramic type material in it, which allows them to fill this to 250 pounds per square inch, but you can only extract 15 pounds per square inch out of it. So they give you a warning right here that says don't run that above 15 psi. Your oxygen, interesting thing about oxygen is very corrosive. If you lay a piece of metal out on the ground, it will start rusting almost immediately. That's because of the oxygen. We use oxygen in a torch to help us cut steel. So we have our torch right here. Now this is called a combination torch, and I'll show you why it's called that. This will unscrew. I don't have a pair of pliers to take this loose. This will come off, and we can put another attachment right here that will let us do other things with this torch, like braze, weld with it, whatnot, whatever. I have another torch. Now this is my personal torch. This is called a positive pressure torch. You notice it doesn't have any attachments. It's used for cutting and whatnot and whatever. The hoses and the pressure on this torch is just like think about your well. If any of you have a well at your house, you know, you have a valve on that well. It's called a foot valve. It will only let water go in one direction. Well, right here we have safety device. This is called a arrestor valve in these torches. It will only let gas go through one way. It will not let it go back and get into these tanks. Well, that's a safety on it. So as we're cutting, whatever we're doing, if you get what they call a backfire, it blows through here, back. It can go all the way back to the tank. But if you have an arrestor on there, it stops it from going back. And that's what these do. This torch right here is, what I like about it, it keeps my hand out of the fire. It brings you back here. Now, if any of you have ever used a saw or anything like that, the thing is, the faster you move, there's a sweet spot in cutting. You find it. When you find it, you go, you keep moving. That's the way it is with the torch. When you find that, you keep moving. The faster you move, the better off you're going to be. The quicker you get that cut done, the more accurate you will be. Now, safety with this thing, it's the same as any other. We need long sleeves. We need not a welding hood. Remember, we talked about welding hoods. We don't need a dark hood. We just need shaded safety glasses to help us stay on the line, keep it cutting. I'll say this. Cutting the metal is as much a part of welding as putting the pieces together. You got to be able to cut the pieces, heat them, bend them, form them to what they need to be to make it work. Now the oxygen valve right here, we usually run about 40 pounds. I'll turn it around here where you can see it. This is a little oxygen bottle. Now watch when I turn it on. See how the pressure came up here? Now I've got, oh goodness, that's a full bottle. It's a little over 2,000 pounds. When you have a full oxygen bottle, you're going to have 2,000 pounds per square inch. The little acetylene bottle, you should have about 250. See there? Now I've got it set. It doesn't go above 15 psi. And I'm going to turn that off. Another thing we have is our striker. It works on a flint, which you put it right here and see that? That will ignite the acetylene. It's highly flammable. That will ignite it, get you started. You add the oxygen in, fine tune it. And this is just an introductory into the torches. Torches are an essential part of welding. You cannot be able to weld unless you learn to be proficient in the torch, setting it up, burning. But it takes quite a bit of practice and quite a bit of skill to do it. Now, I'm not going to go much further into it than that today. We will do it in sections, and you will be able to do the torch hands-on in the shop. And like I said, this is just my little torch here at the house that I keep on the farm in case I need to do a little burning or whatnot, whatever. When I empty a bottle, I go get me a new one and put it on there. But until now, I hope this helps you understand what we're going into next. The torches, oxyacetylene torches. And also, we will be going into plasma arc cutting here shortly, which is cutting, but it's a little different than this. This is torches right now. Thank you. Watch this. Think about what I've said, and I will see you a little bit later. All right. Goodbye.
It's up to you. It's up to you. I'll adjust the camera to... Oh, I'm recording.